Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and today we are going to Minmus. In particular, Matthew Ferman is going to Minmus, our first pilot to ever go there. He's got a lot of contracts to complete, including the two satellite contracts that we weren't able to get last time. I have new probe cores on here that both can turn and hold a heading, which is unique in Kerbal Space Program. We've also got two experimental engines that we're going to test once we get these guys in orbit. And then he's going to Minmus. Other than that, it's pretty much the same as it was before. So we're going to turn on the computer. We're going to hit the spacebar in 3, 2, 1, launch. Very nice. Okay, this ship is basically the same ship we had before. We need to watch our atmospheric efficiency and throttle down as time goes on. We also need to... Matt, you're not holding an upright thing here. I know you're new at this, but we pay you to keep the rocket straight. I love tweakable everything. It allowed me to kick those off slowly so as not to make them explode. Okay, and I'm pushing my apoapsis up here. I'm going to push it up almost to 90. Actually, 290. And now it's time to stage these next guys. So there they go. And now we're going to switch to them. And the reason I pushed it up to 90 is I want to make sure that I have plenty of time to do everything I need to do. So, we're going to switch this guy to map mode. We are going to set a maneuver node for him right about here to get him into orbit. Then we're going to switch to this guy. We're going to go into map mode for him. We're going to set him a little bit earlier, get him into orbit. Then we're going to switch back to our ship here, and we're going to set up a maneuver node here to get him into orbit. Now he's the most important one, because he'll die if we if we don't get him into orbit. So now I'm fast forwarding up to get us into space here. And for some reason, Kerbal alarm clock. Oh, you know why? Because we're within the range. I didn't think about that. If it's within 10 minutes, I think I set it up. It's not going to create an alarm. That's a problem. But you know what? It's nothing we can't handle here. Let's go ahead and manually add a maneuver node alarm. Manually add a maneuver node alarm, and manually add a maneuver node alarm. And we got 2 minutes before each one of these, which is fine. And they're slightly spaced out, but this guy's coming before the probe. So we're going to do this probe first, and he's next. So let's go ahead and get him aimed. And I set these guys up so that they can get sunlight from any direction. They got 4 solar panels on them. They're facing up and down in all 4 directions. So that's nice. Going to do a quick test burn. 15-second burn. Okay, so we're going to go 7 seconds before the alarm. Of course, our moon unit alpha is going here. So we're going to close this alarm. We're just going to hit the gas here. And our goal is to... Where's our... Oh, we don't have Kerbal Engineer anymore. So our goal is to get this guy a periapsis above 70. Okay, he's fine now. Now we don't need to worry about him anymore. Of course, I was like a moron, and I deleted my alarms as I went. So we're going to go to this guy. Our actual ship, the node is in 20 seconds. It's guessing it's a 3-second burn, but that's fine. I should have deleted those maneuver node alarms while I while I had them, but hey, that's what happens when you're stupid. Okay, so we're going to burn this guy up. He can actually see his periapsis, so we're just going to get him above the atmosphere. That's all we care about. And then this guy, hey, sweet, we were able to actually get to him. He has just gone over his time. So we're going to check out his orbit here. Don't really care about the actual periapsis. All we care about is that periapsis. And he's in orbit. So all of our guys are in orbit. So now we can actually do things without worrying about our guys crashing. And one of the things that we need to do is we need to transmit or recover scientific data from space around Kerbin. Well, guess what? We can do that with this guy. Although he doesn't have very much power on him. But that's not going to be a big deal. We're going to log this temperature, and we are going to transmit it. And he's going to run out of power here. And we didn't get the credit for it. That's kind of crazy. We ran out of electric charge so quickly that we didn't get the credit. I thought we would get the credit for a tiny little bit of it, but I guess not. So let's just go around here until we're in the sun again. And now we've got our contract. We can also turn on SAS again. There we go. The LV-1 liquid fuel engine, we need to be between 85 and 102. This guy is never between those things. So we're just going to burn his orbit up a little bit. And actually, this could be the guy who does this orbit. So we're just going to burn him until his orbit is... It's not exactly equatorial. And actually, you know what? We're going to go to our ascending node. Yeah, we're going to go all the way to the ascending node and do this burn here. That way we're touching the descending node with the apoapsis at the time. We'll do this the correct way. Why not? It's unique. Okay, this is a 1 and 50-second burn. So we're going to want to start about a minute beforehand. Actually, I want 55 seconds beforehand. And let's go. I hit the Z key instead of the X key. My biggest failure in this game. I do that so often. Ever since they implemented the Z key, I always hit it by accident. So I'm just going to burn this down a little bit. These guys have plenty of fuel in them. If you look here, he's used like, what, a quarter of his fuel, give or take, maybe a third, and we're almost done. So not a big deal. Let's go ahead and kill this maneuver node. Make sure our descending node and our periapsis our thing here. Now, if you check this, if you drop a maneuver node here, this is a trick. And then you can look at it from all the angles and make sure you're touching from all the angles. And we are. So he is set. So now right here, we're already at the descending node. So we might as well set up this maneuver node to do what we want, which is tilt the orbit and get it out here. We also need some radial changes. And some more prograde. And that should probably do it, to be honest. A little bit more normal. A little bit more radial. Yeah, that orbit should get him set up. It's a 53 meter per second burn. It is in 1 hour and 24 minutes. But also, we are already, actually, that's funny. We screwed around so much, we're already too high to test this thing here. So let's go to our other ship. And because it's obvious you can screw up this, I'm going to make sure I don't. What we're going to do is we're going to set his apoapsis to be right in between the two things that we need. Actually, we're there already. So let's go ahead and test this engine really quickly. I think you can run test on this guy. Yes. Boom! We just tested the engine, and we've completed another contract. 80 science, or 60 science for that. That's infinitely more science than I thought we would ever get. Okay. Now, he is ready to do his burn, and he wants to get to Moon. Because if you look here, if you focus on Moon, we have a very twisted reverse orbit around Moon. So we're going to have to basically kind of do a, whatever you call it, a free return trajectory. We're going to need to come around the other side of the Moon. And now if I fiddle with time here, if I go forward in time, you'll see that we'll swing around the Moon and then we'll come out the other side. And that gets us to your free return trajectory. But if now we focus on the Moon, that's actually not too bad, to be honest. We'll have to fix the radial. That's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and go forward in time a little bit. See, at some point this doesn't help. Yeah, and these don't really help any. Yeah, I think we're going to do this, and then when we get to about our midway point here, we'll drop another one and burn south so that we attach to this. So that's this guy. Let's actually change his name. This is going to be our Moon Orbiter. And then I don't know which one we had, so let's delete them both. There we go, Moon Orbiter. Now we're going to jump to this guy, actually. We're going to rename him to Kerbin Orbiter. And the reason I'm doing this is because these guys are going to stay forever. Whenever we need scientific data from space around somewhere, we're going to have these satellites to get them for us. Okay, we got these guys set up. We're 20 some odd minutes away from the next thing to happen. So now, let's go to our main ship. You are going to Minmus. And we are going to use a target. We're going to miss this window, so we're actually going to go for this one over here. So right around here, I want to do a maneuver node. That's going to send my apoapsis out to Minmus. I don't want to waste too much fuel. I could burn up like this. Let's actually see how much fuel this wastes, just to see. 922 as opposed to 914. Okay, yeah, we'll waste the fuel. I was thinking it was going to be like 50 or more. So I am going to do this. Let's see. Let's bring ourselves back in time pretty close to equatorial. I mean, it doesn't really matter because we're just going to get into orbit anyway. So there's that burn. And that is apparently coming up in 5 minutes. So we'll just do that burn now. Oh, wait, we also have separatrons. I forgot about that. We need to test separatrons in orbit around Kerbin. So let's go ahead and hit these separatrons right now. I put very little fuel in them. So that's all that was for, was to test them. So there we got that contract now, which is awesome. So now all we got is the 2 satellites, the getting to Minmus, and then the satellite that's going to Moon is going to transmit data from the Moon. Okay, a back-of-the-envelope calculation told me that this is going to be about a 15-20 second burn. But when we get to 30 seconds, I'm going to hit Z and then X just to get an actual time. Okay, 30-second burn. I guess it's a little bit more than I was expecting. I would rather go slowly and waste a little more fuel than go quickly and miss it. Like that. Here's where reaction wheels would come in handy. I'm actually going to thrust limit this guy. We're going to burn down just a little bit. There's our thing. Okay, now we should be able to nail this pretty nicely. You know what? I'm actually going to stick with that. That's a pretty good periapsis. I mean, Minmus doesn't rotate that much, and we have so much fuel on this ship, it doesn't really matter. I could have actually dropped a fuel tank or two, to be honest. This guy is so OP. That's what our orbit's going to be, 271. We have so much. Yeah, we're going to be leaving this thing possibly with some fuel in it, possibly in orbit around Minmus. We can make that a goal later. The next thing to happen though is the Moon Orbiter, so let's go ahead and jump to him. And I have nothing really to tell me how long his trip to Moon is going to take. So I'm going to go again down to maybe a minute, and I'll do a test burn. 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Well, I guess we should get started here. Okay, watching his orbit go up here. Remember, we want to go backwards around the Moon. About like that, give or take. Maybe I'll burn a little bit different here. Get that just matched up because we had such a nice thing there. Okay, now, if we remember, we wanted to fix this guy's north and south. So let's focus view on Moon. And what we want to do is we want to get his orbit so it comes down here and it touches somewhere along this line. So we're going to go negative on the normal. We can already tell it's not going to be very well placed. I wonder if changing the time would help this thing. It does, actually. A little bit. Seems like the closer we get, and actually, let me just try it in Moon's sphere of influence and see if that actually helps. Yeah, you know what? I like that better. It might be a little bit more, but it'll save us a little bit on this end. And actually, this looks like it touches right here. It does. So let's go ahead and do this maneuver node. It is not the next thing to happen. The next thing to happen is the Kerbin Orbiter. Okay, and this guy, I believe, has already done his burn. Yes, this is his burn to get into orbit and complete this contract. And this should be about a half of what he had before. So, and that guy was like 2.5 minutes. So we're going to say 45 seconds. I'm going to go down to a minute still and do another test burn. Yep, about a minute. So about 20, we'll say 6 seconds before we're going to do this burn. And now all we care about is that his orbit around Kerbin reaches what they want. So as soon as we see this checkbox, I'm going to hit X. And we hit it. Now we just need to maintain stability for 10 seconds. And we've completed another contract. Nicely done. Okay, let's delete this maneuver node. We never need it again. The next thing to happen is our moon orbiter, so let's go ahead and jump to him. Okay, we have sphere of influence changed. We could do this burn at any time now. So we're just going to do it now. All I care about is that the orbit looks close to what the other orbit was. And that looks good to me. Okay, this other maneuver node is still set pretty well. But now we can use it to actually plan things. Get our radio looking like that. Do a little bit more retrograde. Oh, I know why I'm going backwards on some of these because they're good. And that pretty much nails it. It's a 268 meter per second burn, which is very short. It should be the next thing to happen, yes. It's predicting 32 seconds, and I don't really see a reason to doubt that. So when we get down to about 20, I'm going to do a quick test burn just to be 100% sure. Oh. Yeah, 30 seconds. We'll go down to 14. Hit the gas, and now it's all about designated orbit around the moon. And we're there. Maintain stability for 10 seconds, and we have another ship. And while we're waiting for our 10 seconds, we might as well take a temperature reading here. And complete this contract. Position a satellite in specific... Oh, you know what? This actually doesn't work for... It doesn't work because we can't take a temperature reading this far out. I didn't even think about that. So what we need to do is we need to actually burn this guy down. We need to violate our terms of the contract here. But we've already got the contract, so who cares? We need to burn his periapsis down to, we'll say 25. This is potentially cheating, but who cares? Now let's try this again here. Take your temperature reading like I told you to. There we go. Log temperature. Now we can just say transmit this data. There we go. Now we can hit our thing. I'm actually going to aim him retrograde, and we're going to burn his apoapsis down. He should be low over moon, at least during most of his orbit now. So we can take that temperature reading anytime we want. Okay, and now it's finally time for the final event. And the final event is getting Matthew Ferman into orbit around Minmus, which we cannot see yet. Actually, yeah, we can't see it because it's 27 days away. That's right, we're coming into it from pretty high up here. Here comes Minmus. Oh, wait, here comes Minmus. That's Moon. Yeah, we're basically falling towards Kerbin and then intersecting Minmus on the way down. We also, I wish this toolbar worked better. Yeah, we only have 3 things to do, or 4 things to do. We need to achieve orbit, we need to transmit or recover scientific data from space around. So let's go ahead and do a crew report and transmit that, but there's no comms devices on the vessel. There never are. Go ahead and hop out there and take your EVA report. And I think we're going to do something different. We're not going to follow the mission protocol here. We are going to aim ourselves radially inward. Because we're on the sunny side. We're not on the Kerbin-facing side, so Kerbin's not going to see this. But we're going to burn ourselves radially inward here. Like so. Get ourselves pretty darn close. That's pretty darn close. But we do have to slow down here enough to get into orbit so that we get the achieve orbit around Minmus contract. Part of the contract done. Although, you know what? We'll achieve orbit when we take off. So we don't actually need to do that. Let's go ahead and, yeah, let's do it. Let's have fun. It's going to take 396 meters per second. So we're actually going to land with fuel still in this thing. Obviously over-engineered this rocket just a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and head down here. Is that our X? That is our X. You know what we're going to do? We are going to burn upwards here. I would kind of like to land on this flat area up here. I think that's a good place to land. And if you're wondering, yes, I am making this up as I go along. And then a little bit north, that's south. We'll come in right over here and land it right here. Yeah, Kerbin is not visible, so he's going to do this the way he wants it. And he says, I want to land up there. That looks cool. Okay, I think it is time to hit the gas. And it is time to throttle up the engine. That distinctly changes our prediction, though. Our fuel usage and landing prediction. Yeah, we can't do EVA reports. I'm sorry. We'll do them on the way back. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of landing up here. Although this is a terribly unflat plane, but Minmus is so easy. I think we're just going to kill our velocity. We'll just bring it down right here. The one thing about this rocket is it is very unwieldy. Oh, look at that. When I switched to surface mode, it's like, no, you want to go over this way. And just the fact that it's so unwieldy makes me want to get rid of it here. But I'm just aiming my my retrograde marker straight down, or my retrograde straight up, so my prograde is straight down, to make it easier to land as we come down here. And I think I am going to dump the engine once we get maybe... Let's actually turn off orbit. Once we get, say, 100 meters off the ground. Okay, we are 500 meters off. I'm going to slow my velocity down a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy. We have enough fuel in this rocket almost to get home without ever touching the other rocket. Okay. Going to slow us down to about 10 here. We're going to ditch this. Oh, we're near a very big rock. Yeah, look at the only thing that blew up was the engine. Speaking of blowing up the engine, we don't want to blow up our engine. There we go. We are landed. Let's take a temperature scan from the surface. Let's take a crew report from the surface. And let's take an EVA report flying over the surface. And that's what I was afraid that the ship would fall over, but not particularly afraid, simply because it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, that could hurt something. Yeah, see, because the ship doesn't have SAS when the pilot's not in it, is the problem. But now it should be stuck here because of the debris that it pushed itself against. Okay, we're going to take an EVA report. We're also going to plant a flag because we got another first landing here. And that is Matthew Ferman. Very well done. So, it is time for Matthew Ferman to come home. Don't beat up your ship here. Oh, yeah, we want SAS on. Okay, get this thing upright again. Okay, we want our orbit stuff here. Yes, orbit. Our apoapsis is already at 80, or at 8 kilometers, which is fine. All we need to do is transfer or recover scientific data from space around Minmus, which we will get once we return home. So at some point while we were slowing down to land, we must have achieved orbit. There we go. A periapsis of 25. That would be plenty. It's in 25 minutes, so I'm going to sit here and do EVA reports until we do the burn. Okay, we're going to do the burn. And you know what? Let's use the trajectory mod, shall we? We're going to be coming in on the dark side. I don't know why it's not showing... that's because I turned off trajectories. There we go. That's where we're going to land, which is disturbingly close to Kerbal Space Center. I wonder if we could land on the island runway. How cool would that be? Let's try it. We don't need to be in surface mode anymore. We need to burn south on our orbit, which is this way. Okay, we need to burn north on our orbit, which is this way. Okay, none of these work, so I'm confused and I don't know what I'm doing. I also want to burn prograde a little bit because I want to land in the sun. That is crazy. We need to thrust limit this engine all the way down to nothing. Henbert Cape. We could do one pass through the atmosphere and then go to Henbert Cape, but I don't want to do that. That's boring. I would love to land on this airport. That would be so cool. But I don't know how to do that. Let's try adding a maneuver here right around Moon's orbit. If we go retrograde just a little bit, that completely changes everything. Yeah, I'm not smart enough to do this. So we are just going to land right there in the middle of nowhere and deal with it later. Or what if we, you know what, we got plenty of fuel. What if we do it like here instead? Oh, that's funny. Putting this maneuver node here says that I'm going to land right here. And it'll be sunny. But then deleting the maneuver node... Well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do what this maneuver node says, even though it's not actually a maneuver node. We're learning together. Okay, now it says we're going to land here if we do this maneuver node. So... even though there's no actual anything on it. Yeah, it's doing the opposite. See, that's not what we want. I'm going to thrust limit the engine down even farther. Okay, now I'm going to go the opposite way now. There, that's got to be close enough to see it on landing, which will be fun. I am going to hit F5 here. I am also going to stop my video and restart it just in case the game crashes. Okay, here we come. This should be fun. We got so much fuel. We're going to be coming around the dark side of the planet here. Coming at this super shallow angle. And I just realized that I want to go a little bit farther than the helipad. Because we're going to want to hit the parachute. And we can do that when we're over the helipad, and then we'll be good. Where are we? We're way over here. We're going over this island, and on the southern end of this island, there is an airport. Wonder if we can see it. Probably not. I think you have to be closer than we are to see the Kerbal Constructs things. But it's somewhere around there. That might be a fun thing to take off from. Explore this island a little bit. Oh, and there's Moonrise right there. Look at that. You don't get better than that. Oh, I have a feeling it's going to be like in this area right here. I'm seeing some weird jittery stuff going on here. We can do a temperature scan. Let's go ahead and do it. Where is that heliport? It's like a puff or something. I'm not seeing the buildings. Oh, there they are. That's the heliport right there. It's in this bowl. And turn on the HUD. Oh, need to bring my engine up. We are going to land on this heliport. Exactly. In a perfect world. Oh, that is just amazing. This is so cool. Yeah, our parachute going down, that's part of Tweakable Everything. The Tweakable Everything mod lets you set parachutes. This is amazing. We're going to land right here. We're not going to lose anything on this ship. Oh, look at this. Nicely piloted, Matthew. Amazingly piloted. Take your temperature scan. Let's take your EVA report flying over the mountains. Hop back in the ship. Let's take another EVA report. Actually, let's get back in the ship. Let's fall it over here. Your ship is too stable. There we go. Take your other EVA report. Because we're going to be buying this. This is going to be Matthew's heliport from now on. Matthew found it. He's like, you know what? I earned this thing. Founded by Matthew Ferman. I almost said Kerbin. And we got a ton of science. We have 1,226 science. We have over 1 million funds. Matthew Ferman, you are our most experienced Kerbal with level 2. Very well done. We have 600 and some odd reputation. Now, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to discard all these. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade this building. It's very cheap, and it lets us do things. Then I'm going to cancel the fundraising campaign. Then I'm going to initiate a new fundraising campaign, ideally at 60%. Wait a minute, that's science. There we go, fundraising campaign, ideally at 60%. Oh, 310, we could easily do that. We can't go over 60% though. So we are going to accept that. If I knew it was only 300, I would have done it a long time ago. Now, we are going to upgrade the R&D building. Wham! Even bigger, awesomer, and all that stuff. We are also, if we upgrade this, we're only going to have 100,000 left, and I kind of would like to do the, I would kind of like to go to Duna. seems kind of crazy to go to Duna so quickly, but I think we're going to do it. We're going to Duna it. And to go to Duna, we need bigger rockets. We also need docking ports. We could probably use nukes, but you don't really need nukes to go to Duna. Lander cannon would be nice. This is almost required because we're going to be sending more than one person outside of Kerbin's sphere of influence. So we're just going to get that. This is going to be very important, the QBE, because that way non-pilots can pilot their ships. Better solar panels is always good. Science, not a big deal. Ladders, though, I'm going to research ladders. The big landing gear, I don't really need it. The big parachute, not necessary. The chair would be awesome. However, we don't have the science for it. So we're gonna be going to Duna with this, it looks like. Do we need this? I've installed extraplanetary launch pads, but currently I don't have any immediate plans to do it. We're gonna be doing it eventually, because obviously I wouldn't have installed it if not. And I think, you know what, we're gonna research some of these lower tier things just to get them. Yeah, I love this. I love this thing here. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and get all our meat of our plan here. So I think the next thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it right now, but I am going to eventually research advanced construction. And I will if I need it for the ship I end up building. Also, we have no active contracts. So, and I've turned on the in situ resource utilization contracts here. We can extract carbonite. We're not going to bother with those quite yet. Planting a flag on the moon, not going to happen. Satellites, probably not going to happen. Visual surveys. Explore Duna. That's what we're going to do. And explore Ike. We're going to do that. I'm also probably going to cancel a bunch of these contracts and try to get some Duna and Ike specific contracts and see if we can take care of those. But next episode, we are going to be sending 3 of you to Duna, and one of you is going to land on Ike, one of you is going to land on Duna, and then one of you is going to be piloting the main ship. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing it. I am 5th Horseman, and I will, as always, talk at you later.